And I remember one of the last rooms we were brought into was a round hall. And I looked, and as I looked, and I felt to myself, I've been in this room before. I've been in this kind of place before. Hello and welcome to 21 Days of Prophetic Advantage. I want to encourage you to please like, share, and subscribe. Hello everybody and welcome to another session of 21 Days of Prophetic Advantage. And this time around, I'm going to be talking about the season of prophetic fulfillment. And I believe that as we enter into this season where God wants to do or perform extraordinary results, as we fuse with God, as He puts His super on our natural, we're going to begin to experience what we call prophetic fulfillment. And what is this about? It's that season. You remember where it says in the book of Acts chapter 2 verse 19, where Peter stood up and said, he kind of interpreted and said, but this is what was spoken by the prophet Joel. The people were confused. They didn't understand what's this all about. These people seem drunk. He said, no, I'm speaking by prophetic hindsight. I believe this is what Prophet Joel prophesied many years ago. That's what we are seeing, the fulfillment of this. Now, how does that play out in our lives? Let me give you a practical example of what happened to me. So, my oldest son, was supposedly doing research by himself. He found out about some school and was telling me that and his mom that he wanted to go to this school. When I looked at the school and the fees, I was like, look, hey, my friend, there are other schools that are free and good schools, where you live in a neighborhood where the schools are free and you don't need to pay anything. Why would I want to send you to a school that is, either about my salary or half of my salary, something to that effect? And, my wife just said, let's just humor him. Let's not discourage him. Let him do what he is. And then he said, he comes and tells my wife that, oh, the interview is on such and such a date. And I was like, what? On this day? And it just so happened that the day she reminded me, oh, the interview, Tony's interview is today, was a day after a night vigil. So you know what it's like? You just got back, say maybe 6 a.m. after praying all night, blah, blah, blah. And then my wife wakes me up, and that's at maybe 8:39 that we had this interview, and we had 1 hour's travel to get there. And I'm like, no. This is where we need to tell this boy that he's only dreaming. It's not going to happen. And so my wife just said, for whatever it's worth, let's just go. Let's go with him, blah, blah, blah. I said, we don't have the money. And she said, no, let's just go. Let's just go and see. So we went. Thank God for moms. We went and they were taking us from room to room. I just knew that, look, this is an old school. I don't know, maybe the school was about perhaps maybe 500 years old or something. And I'm like, look, this boy, look, what's all this trouble? And we're going from room to room. And I remember one of the last rooms we were brought into was a round hall. And I looked, and as I looked, and I felt to myself, I've been in this room before. I've been in this kind of place before. I then realized that I think it must have been that same night or the night before. I had a dream. A dream where I saw myself in precisely that same room. So when I walked out of the room, I was like, hold on a minute. I've never been here before, but I've been here before in a dream. That was when it dawned on me that what God was saying to me is that you can't afford it. Yeah, but I can't afford it. Send this boy to this school. God gave me a prophetic dream or vision beforehand about a room in the school that I was going to walk into. Now, the strangest thing about it is that I didn't have the money. By faith, I sent him there. And guess what? God supernaturally provided. We were not 1 day late in any of the fees. Literally, I'm talking about for both my sons for 5 years. It was over and above my income. But we sent these boys to this school by faith. Now, this is the phenomenal thing about all of this. My son went to that school. That room was called the Winston Churchill's room. Winston Churchill, the prime minister, went to that school, and he gave speeches in that room. So it was named after him. Winston Churchill's room. Will you believe? My son went to that school, graduated from that school, and 2 years or 3 years later was invited back, and he spoke from that in that same hall. It's like the assembly hall. It's round. It's circular, and he spoke there. And God reminded me, this is what you get when you lean on the prophetic advantage. You could never have done this in your strength, but you obeyed me, and I sent the wind and made it happen. I believe you're coming into your season of prophetic fulfillment.